Today, I'm going to be ranking WoW villains based on who would be the best or the worst raid leader. And so I've been trying to think up more dumb tier list ideas, and I wanted to do a WoW villain one, and I was like, I got it. Raid leader. So let's imagine you have your raid or your guild, whatever it might be, right? And now you have to pick one of these villains to lead that raid. Who would be the best? Who would be the worst? So let's just jump right into it, starting with Illidan. And I mean, right away, you already know Illidan's got that "you are not prepared," right? So he's probably going to expect that you're not prepared, right? So he's going to want you to go watch all of the YouTube videos. He's going to want you to read guides, right? He's going to want you to go farm mats, and you're going to be like, dude, Illidan, we did all this already. And he's like, I still don't think we're prepared enough, right? He would be that guy that's like, we just need more preparation, right? And I think because of that, you would actually do pretty well in the raid, but it would be really annoying to deal with Illidan because it's like that. He's like the parent you're never gonna make happy. Like, even if you complete the raid, he's like, we could have been more prepared, right? Let's go prepare for the next one, right? He's never happy. So I wouldn't say he's S tier, but I would say he's A tier because, you know, you're getting the job done, but in a very annoying way. Then we have Cho'gall. And I'm going to tell you right now, Cho'gall has to be F tier. Just the fact that Cho'Gall is like a two-headed ogre. You already know they're going to be like fighting with each other. They'll be like, I think we pull now. And he's like, I think we pull in 5 minutes. They just like go back and forth. They would just probably like yell out contradicting instructions. They'd be like, X goes over there. And they'd be like, no, X goes over there. And they would just like it would probably just take like 20 years to actually even pull anything. They'd be like, you pulled it wrong, right? It would be an absolutely terrible experience. I would not want to be in a Cho'gall raid. So I think that's an easy F tier. Then we have Azshara. And this one's interesting because I feel like Azshara would actually be a really good raid leader. But I'm pretty sure she's like very narcissistic, right? So I think her whole thing would be like, if you do what she tells you to do, she'll be like, this is great. You know, you're a part of the guild. Everything's going well. But if anytime you question her, like, hey, maybe we should do this differently, or I don't think you're doing this right, she would probably like kick you out of the raid. Right? Because there's like, I think there's some quotes from her where she's just like, hey, listen, you know, if you kneel before me, like, you're great, man, like you're good, but like if you don't, I'm gonna crush you beneath the tide or something like that, right? I know that because I actually did a little research on all these WoW villains before I started making this tier list, so I was prepared, unlike, well, I guess Illidan would say I wasn't prepared enough, but I did read up a little bit on all these WoW villains so that I didn't, you know, end up at Cthulhu and be like, wait, what does he do again? So, don't worry, I remember barely any of the research I did, but I do remember that quote because I was like, oh yeah, she said something about like, you gotta kneel before her or she'll crush you beneath the tide, right? So I took that as like, if you are nice to her and you praise her, right, and you're just like, you're the best, she'll probably give you loot priority. She'll probably keep you in the raid even if you're not doing that well, and if you go against her, she's kicking you out, you know? So for those reasons, I mean, she'd be a good raid leader. So, I'm gonna say B tier. I think she's a solid B tier, like top of the B tier. Yeah, I think that's good. Garrosh. Okay. Like, instantaneously, like, Garrosh comes to mind as like the hothead, yelling at everybody, kicking people. Like, I feel like if somebody's like the lowest on the DPS meters, he would just like kick them out and be like, you're a scrub, dog. Like, he's the guy that would like check your item level. Remember back in Wrath of the Lich King, he used to have gear score. He would probably check every single person's gear score and be like, if it's low, don't even bother whispering me, right? Like, he would be that guy just screaming at everyone, and then if you like failed 4 times or something, he'd probably just like quit the raid and be like, I'm not wasting my time. So I'd put him, but at the same time, like, he's probably pretty strategic, just really annoying to deal with. But I think he's so annoying and so hot-headed that I'd probably put him in the C tier. I don't know. That's just my opinion. From just, you know, the information I gathered and remembering Garrosh just in general. I may be completely wrong. You know what? He might be a very level-headed person once he gets into the raid. Who knows? But that's how I see it. Then we have Cthulhu. Speaking of Cthulhu. And I feel like I'm trying to think of like what Cthulhu would do, because like the old gods are all about like manipulation and stuff, right? And they would like whisper shit to you. So I feel like the old, like, you'd be waiting to do the raid and Cthulhu would just be like, we will succeed or you will die. Like shit like that. You're just like, I guess I gotta do well. Or he'd probably just like mind control everyone in the raid and just do the fight himself. That'd probably be something he'd do as well. So I feel like Cthulhu would do a great job, but just in his own way, which would be kind of weird and scary. So I'm gonna put him in the B tier. You know what? I think maybe he would like wake up from the raid and be like, oh, what happened? And he would just be like, everything is fine. Carry on. And like maybe he wouldn't remember anything, but the raid would be over. So, you know, I'll put him in the B tier. Deathwing. I feel like I don't know enough about Deathwing to really rank him. I say I researched all these. I like barely. I don't think I really looked up anything on Deathwing. I was just like, Deathwing. You know what? Deathwing would probably just stand in the fire. He's right. Deathwing loves fire. He's like, he burned down all of Azeroth. So he'd probably be obsessed with fire. Maybe he would just like, he'd constantly go into the fire. They'd be like, people stand in the fire. They'd be like, get out of the fire. And he'd be like, nah, dude, you're good. We love fire around here. Or he'd be the guy that would make fire and tell people to get out of the fire. Maybe he would be the guy to tell them to get out of the fire, even though he loves fire. He'd have some like weird, I don't know, sadistic thing about that. I feel like he'd also be a big time DPS guy. I feel like Deathwing would do some big DPS. I don't know. I feel like I don't know enough about Deathwing to really judge him. Like, I think he's okay. Honestly, I'd probably just put him in C tier. I don't know. Gul'dan. Oh, man. I feel like Gul'dan would be a really good leader, but he would he'd backstab somebody. You know what I mean? Or like he would be like very conniving. He'd probably like ninja loot something, right? He'd probably ninja loot all the warlock gear, or he'd like master loot himself the warlock gear. It'd be like, dude, what's happening to all the warlock gear? He's like, it didn't drop. And they're just like, it looks like you're looting it. Like, what's going on? He's just like, shut up. I don't see anything, right? He'd probably do that. He also seems like the type of guy that would insult people on a personal level. Like, I feel like somebody would be like, Gul'dan, you suck at raid leading. And he'd be like, at least I'm not a loser that works at a Best Buy. Right? He would like do some like personal level insults. He'd be like, at least I haven't worked at Best Buy for 15 years and wasted my life. He would say some shit like that. So like, even though he'd be a good raid leader, probably, I don't think I'd want to be in his raid. So I'm going to put him in the F tier. Arthas. The Lich King. Honestly, I think I'd put him in the S tier. I think Arthas as the Lich King could definitely lead like some of the best raids. And I don't even think it'd be that bad. I feel like he's like a solid leader. You know, he's organized. I'd say the only downside is that if you mess up a lot, he'll probably like kill you and put you in the Frostmourne. Which, you know, that could be a pretty big downside. But as long as you're doing well, like, you're probably all right. Yeah, I don't know. I still think he'd be I think he'd be a really good raid leader. He'd probably like resurrect people. You know, if you die, he'd res you up. Although you'd probably get rezzed up as like a ghoul or a zombie or something. I genuinely think he'd be a good raid leader though. Even if he is, you know, the Lich King. Yeah, let's put him there. So then we have, Kel'Thuzad. Kel'Thuzad. So Kel'Thuzad, because I know Kel'Thuzad used to be like a Kirin mage, right? And he like really got into necromancy, and then, you know, then everything happens. He's Kel'Thuzad, but like he's got Mr. Bigglesworth, so like he loves cats. You know, I always trust somebody who loves cats. I mean, he's probably pretty organized. You know, he's got like raid plans. He probably like hands out. He's probably got like Excel spreadsheets for people to look at, which might be a downside. I don't know, what else would he do? He'd probably, I mean, he's necromancy, right? If you die, he could like resurrect people. Although maybe he'd be like too obsessed with necromancy, and he's like, we need people to die so I can res them, right? Like he'd get a little too crazy with it. He'd probably be a great raid assist for Arthas. So you know what? I'm gonna put him in the S tier as well. This is really just like I want to raid in Wrath of the Lich King. I guess is what this is boiling down to. Yeah, I think it'd be pretty good. Then we have Archimonde and Kil'jaeden. And from what I looked up, and I mean, I've been playing through Warcraft 3 as well, so I kind of have some knowledge of like Archimonde and Kil'jaeden from Warcraft 3. But Archimonde is very much the like military focused guy. Like he wants to fight. He wants to, you know, get shit done. He's like, we're going to invade. We're going to attack. We're going to do all this stuff. Well, Kil'jaeden's more like the strategist, and he's analyzing and manipulating and adapting, right? And so I think because of that, Kil'jaeden would probably be the better raid leader. I would say the only downside with Kil'jaeden is he might overthink things, right? Like he might get a little too overconfident. He might get a little too like, let's do something a little like, let's try this strategy a different way. I think I can do it a better way, and it ends up being worse. But you know, yeah, I mean, even that, I think that's like, I'm kind of nitpicking there, but I would put Kil'jaeden in the S tier. I think he would have a solid, he would be a solid raid leader. Now, if you failed him, it probably would be terrible. That's like anybody on this list at this point. You know what I mean? And I'd say Archimonde's probably still good. I'd probably put him in the A tier. Yeah, you know, if you mess up, the Burning Legion kills you. But, you know, like anything on this list, if you mess up, somebody's going to do something to you. Then we have Lady Vashj. And I feel like Lady Vashj would be a pretty good raid leader. Because she's very strategic. She seems very, like, calculated, and she'd probably be really good at the mechanics of raids, right? Like she wouldn't mess up the mechanics. She would make sure people in the raid aren't messing up mechanics. I know her whole thing is she was Azshara's like handmaiden, right hand woman or whatever, but maybe because of that she like looks up to Azshara a little too much. But at the same time, she probably doesn't have that narcissism that Azshara has, but she has a lot of the strategy that Queen Azshara has. So I feel like I'd actually put her in the A tier. I think she'd be pretty solid. Like, sure, she's probably a little crazy still. She's probably got like a low tolerance for people doing stuff. Like it's almost like the teacher in class where like kids are talking in the back, and she'd be like, "Stop talking," right? Like, and if you kept talking, like you're done. You're kicked out of the raid. It's all over. But yeah, I'd say she's in the A tier. Then we have N'Zoth. And like N'Zoth, I mean, a lot of the old gods are probably on the same level of what they would do. I think I know N'Zoth's whole thing is like nightmares and dreams and stuff like that. So maybe he would like make the raid go insane. before the raid even starts, everyone's like, oh, I'm losing my mind. I'm going crazy. Like that N'Zoth event that happened, or, you know, I mean, pretty much any N'Zoth event. Like, he makes you go insane, and then maybe he, like, tries to mind control you through that insanity, or, you know, weird, like, illusions and nightmares. He'd probably also be saying, like, some cryptic shit, like some weird cryptic quotes. Because yeah, what are some of the quotes he has? He's like, obey. Like, he always says obey. So, like, he would already be like, you better obey me, right? There's, oh my God, what's that one quote he says? It's just, he's just got a lot of, like, weird-ass quotes. So, I don't know. I'd probably put him in the B tier again. I feel like, much like with Cthulhu, he's probably going to get the job done, but in means that are not the most, you know, not the friendliest or best means. Not the, why can't I think of that word? For like conventional. I don't know. Okay, whatever. Next up, we have, Sargeras. Here's my thing with Sargeras. Sargeras has to be like S tier, right? Like, Sargeras is probably one of the best raid leaders. I mean, he's Sargeras, right? Like, the dude is like one of the most powerful beings in the world, or the universe, right? But I feel like he would be the guy that was like trying to do world firsts. You know what I mean? Like, he'd be the #1 mythic plus. He'd be like world first #1. He'd be like trying to be the best at everything. And so if that's what you were into, right? If you're somebody that's going for world first, you're trying to be top of the leaderboards, you want to be the best, I feel like Sargeras would be the absolute best raid leader for you. But if you're not into that, like, it's probably going to be a bad time. Sargeras is going to scream at you and be like, you're a piece of shit, idiot, and kick you out. That's exactly what he would say word for word. So I'm going to put him in the S tier. But I'd put him below these guys still, even though I do think he's a better raid leader than them. Yeah, I put him above Kil'jaeden, actually, but I still like this core duo of Sylvanas, the Lich King and Kel'Thuzad. I don't know why I said Sylvanas. She's not even next on the list. Next up, we have Onyxia. And I don't really know that much about Onyxia. I pretty much looked her up on the WoW wiki, and it was like she was very like manipulative and charismatic and intelligent, and that just made me think of like a Game of Thrones character. like a Cersei Lannister or something. Because I do remember there's that whole Onyxia quest chain in Stormwind, right? I'm not an Alliance person, or at least now I don't care. But back then I wasn't a big Alliance person. I didn't pay much attention to things. So like I do remember there's like a whole Onyxia thing where I think she tricks Stormwind people. I don't know. Just you can yell at me in the comment section of what happens so that I actually know it now. But I'd probably put her in the B tier. She seems like she'd be pretty solid to get the job done, but again, in probably not the greatest of ways, and it would be very manipulative and cold and kind of calculated and political, right? So I'd put her there. Malygos. Malygos is all about just like arcane magic and like that type of stuff. So I mean, he's probably really smart, right? Like, he's probably smart. He's using arcane magic. He's probably got that, you know what? He's got that thing where he's like he's a little too obsessed with how much he knows. I feel like he would he would probably know the mechanics and the fight so well that he would like explain things in a way that nobody understands. And he would like over explain and people get bored, and he would just get mad that they're getting bored and not listening, but it's just because he's like over explaining everything so much. And then if somebody tried to ask a question after he already explained everything, he'd be like, well, you should have listened. Or like he'd like over explain again. And then if you failed the fight, he'd be like, listen, all right, you need to listen. Like, I feel like he'd be that guy. He'd get really annoyed. I'm gonna put him in the C tier. Yeah, I don't know. Next up, we have Ragnaros. You already know, dude, Ragnaros would be just like constantly yelling. He'd be like, Ragnaros has caps lock on on his keyboard. He's just like, by fire be purged. What are you doing? Whoa. He'd be like screaming. He would constantly be telling everyone to purge things. And yeah, he'd be a bigger hothead than even Garrosh Hellscream. So I'm just gonna put him in the C tier. In fact, he might. Is Ragnaros even very strategic? I don't even know. I'm gonna Google it right now. Is Ragnaros strategic? Fighting Ragnaros, whether no Warcraft Rumble. What the hell? Okay, what? You know what? I'm gonna. I don't want to raid for Ragnaros. I'm gonna put him in the F tier. What does this even say? This shitty ass Google AI, man. I don't know what gives you like the worst thing. Okay. Then we have Cthulhu. Or not Cthulhu. We have Yogg-Saron. Yogg-Saron. I'm trying to think of how he differs from like N'Zoth and Cthulhu. Whenever I think of Yogg-Saron, I just think of him being like, I am the lucid dream. Right? That in that fight. And then, you know, it's the same, like he's mind controlling people, stuff like that. I feel like he'd probably be more likely to make you see shit, like make you hallucinate. At least that's how I feel. I don't know. He'd probably be more likely to make you be like, where am I? And like make you try to do your best through psychological manipulation of essentially making it like you're on drugs or something. I mean, I'll just put him in the B tier with the other old gods. That's fine. I might even put her above the old gods just because, you know, old god manipulation. Yeah, I don't know. The jailer. Oh boy. I mean, you already know the jailer. Like the jailer would he would say that everything is a part of his plan. Like that's the most obvious thing, right? It's just like, dude, we just wiped again, and he's like, don't worry, I meant for that to happen, right? He'd be that guy. He'd be like, I mean, I don't know, like that really seemed like a bad wipe, like nobody really was doing it well. He's like, no, I knew that was gonna happen, like you don't understand, like I know what I'm doing. Like he'd be very overconfident too, like I know what I'm doing, right? Like I have a plan, I know what I'm doing. And like whether anything good or bad happened, he would just be like, it's all part of my plan. And that's just what he would do. Absolute F tier. Would not want to raid for the jailer. Kael'thas. Now, I currently have a soft spot for Kael'thas in my heart because I've been playing through Warcraft 3, as I just said. And I really like Kael'thas. I feel bad for him, because I just got through the part in the human campaign where he's like, hey man, like how can we help out? And the humans are just like, get out of here, you fucking loser. And he's just like, what? And they're like, you're elves, you're blood elves, you suck. And he's like, okay, like and then, you know, so I feel like he's just like a good dude, you know. He just went down a bad path after he got kicked a few times by the shitty humans. You know what? I'd probably put him in the A tier. He seems smart, you know. He's a good mage. He's got some cool abilities. I feel like he'd be pretty solid. He seems like he cares about his people, right? Like he always is like, I'm gonna do this for the blood elves, for my people. He'd probably be very considerate and caring for the people in the raid. I'd put him in the A tier. Sylvanas. I don't know. There's so many variations of Sylvanas, man. It's just like, which one are we getting? She would, you know what would happen? She'd probably start out as like a really good raid leader and then just like become very unpredictable. You don't know which version of Sylvanas you're getting. And then she would just like, if you failed, she would burn your house down. I'll put her in the C tier. It's like she'd still probably be pretty good, but you know. Xal'atath. I mean, Xal'atath. Well, let's see. What does Xal'atath do? She would probably tell everybody that she has a plan, and then she would proceed to not tell anybody any information about that plan and withhold all information and then be like, all right, let's do the raid. And we'd be like, can we like hear the plan? She's like, I told you I can't talk about the plan, but we're going to, it's a great plan and we're going to get the job done. All right. And then like you would probably do the raid. And if like you kind of knew what was going on, maybe you read up a little bit, maybe you prepared a little bit like Illidan wanted you to, and then you get the job done. And you're like, okay. And she's like, see, here we go. My plan is progressing. And you're just like, all right. And then, if things got tough, like if you keep wiping over and over, she would just like snap her fingers and teleport away. But like she is smart. Like she knows what she's doing. She's got that old god brain, man, you know? I'd put her in the C tier. Like, I don't know, whatever. The Thunder King. I think the Thunder King, because like the Thunder King is like his whole thing, right? Is he's like very tactical, he's organized, he's smart, right? He's like a military guy. So I feel like that's already a good sign. But at the same time, I remember reading that he sees himself as a god and he's very like cruel and tyrannical. So that sounds terrible. So, you know, you have this like extreme military leader that sees himself as a god. He's essentially a North Korean dictator. I mean, he's probably gonna get the job done, but I don't think I'd want to raid for him. I'd put him in the B tier. He's got like old god energy to him, right? Where like he'd get the job done, but at like a terrible cost. Then we have Gallywix. Dude, Gallywix, I mean, what would Bobby Kotick do as a raid lead is what it boils down to. He'd probably he'd take a cut of all the all the loot, or like the gold, all the gold. He would add up all the gold that dropped in the raid and be like, I get like 20% because it's my raid. He would ninja loot. He'd probably like sell raid spots. He'd be like, you would come to my raid for a price, right? That would be his thing. But he'd be a terrible raid leader. So I mean, it's gotta be an F tier. I don't want him in my raid. Or leading my raid. Hogger. I mean, Hogger doesn't really like communicate, right? He just kind of is like, blah, 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 he just makes like null noises. He would probably just be kind of like having a barbarian lead the raid, right? You would put a feast down. He would just like eat the feast. He would eat all the feasts. There would be no feast left. He would eat them all. He'd ninja the loot. He would just make random noises. He'd probably start biting people and attacking people to be like, get him off me. But you know what? He'd probably do a really good DPS still. So I'm going to put him in the C tier. You know what? Like he still would probably do solid DPS. And, you know, sometimes maybe that's all you need. Like realistically, he should be in the F tier, but I think it's a funny idea, so I'm putting him in the C tier. And then we don't actually have two more. We only have one more. The last one's just a weird culmination of villains. Then we have Denathrius. And I think Denathrius would probably be a pretty good raid leader. Like he seems very cool. He's strategic. He seems pretty smart. But I think his big downside would be he feels like he's kind of a douche. You know, he's got that kind of like arrogance to him. He'd probably just be like, I knew we could do this better than what you guys decided to do. Or he'd be like, he'd get the thing done and he'd be like, I knew my plan would work. Like he would say shit like that. But I mean, I think he'd be pretty good still. And I don't think that would be that bad. I'd put him in the A tier. Because, like, yeah, I still think he'd be a solid raid leader. And, you know, they're all going to have their downsides. And I think that would be his. But compared to a lot of the other ones, I don't think it would be that bad. So, there we go. That's all of the WoW villains ranked on how good they would be at raid leading. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Or you can check out some of my other tier lists. I'll put a couple other dumb tier list ideas I made on the screen that you can go watch. I also have top 10s. I got WoW opinions, all on this YouTube channel. So subscribe if you want more of that. Go check it out. And I'll see you next time. Okay? Okay. See ya.